In the privation theory of evil is the idea that all instances of evil or badness are really instances of lacks or absences that are supposed to be present. Part of the motivation here is that evil itself has no essence. There's no sort of essence of evil. Evil isn't a thing, it's not a substance, it's not a property, it's not a relation, it's not an event. Now there, of course, are evil events, evil properties, evil relations, evil substances, and those will all be analyzed in terms of a substance that lacks something that should be present, a relation that lacks something that should be present, a property that lacks something that should be present, an event that lacks something that should be present, and so on and so forth. The hope is to develop the project into a book, possibly two books. One book focusing, or at least part of a large book focusing on the history of the idea that all evil or badness in the world is a privation of a good that is supposed to be present. So one aspect of it would be to look at the history of that idea, and the other aspect of it would be to look at more of a contemporary defense of the idea, as well as some contemporary applications, both in philosophy and theology, and then also look at some applications in other fields. The Emeriti Fellowship funding was extremely useful to me. I was able to employ a student and help me get a bibliography going. What's exciting about that is that, to my knowledge, and I've done some fairly extensive research on this, there is no bibliography that covers the entire history of Western philosophy on the privation theory of evil. And so something like that all by itself, I think, could be extremely valuable to researchers and scholars in the future. This is all actually an extension of the last chapter of my first book. So my first book was called Goodness, God, and Evil. And in that book, I argued for a particular understanding of the nature of goodness, and then I argued that that understanding implies the privation theory of evil. So if I'm right on my analysis of goodness, then I'm right on my analysis, or this idea of evil as a privation of something that is supposed to be present. I had a wonderful opportunity to present some of the work that I was doing to the philosophy faculty at Madras Christian College. Madras Christian College is one of the top liberal arts institutions in all of Asia, and their philosophy department is very well known. Some world-renowned scholars are there, all with extensive knowledge of Indian philosophy, and then many of them extensive knowledge of Western philosophy. So I gave a talk there on the privation theory of evil, and then I also sat with the professors in seminar-style discussions where they helped me understand and locate sources within Indian philosophy and religion where this idea of the privation theory of evil might be located.